All right. Um, let's top one. And all right, guys. So this is Josh Darvel, and this is going to be a little bit of um, a video, which may or may not go public. I'm not really sure, but I don't pay capital gains taxes. Um, I have written a book, and I published it. First book. It's called Pray and Prosper. Whoop, whoop. Pray and Prosper. Pray and Prosper. Ah. Jeff and I wrote this book together, and it is a fairly thick book. Um, and then I decided I was going to start writing some other books. Now, Coach Michael Burt wrote A to B, and that's a much skinnier book, but he's giving away some pretty good information for very cheap, you know. And I like the way that Coach Burt does things because he takes a an approach that says, I'm going to write this book for this specific reason. And and so I'm taking on a similar approach. But at the same time, the book is one, I want to help people and I want to give away I want to give to them something of value that is scalable. So a book is allowing me to conversate with people and teach them some of the lessons I've learned, and hopefully I can save people heartache and pain and misery of having to go through some of the less comfortable things that I've had to deal with throughout my life. And I mean, that's the purpose of it, right? My drill sergeant always used to say, if you're going to go through a minefield, follow someone. And by following people, you'll avoid the mistakes of getting blown up. Okay. Another way of saying it is model what works. Gary Keller, he always said, model what works. He pointed out the triangle and he said, if you have a triangle and the base of the triangle is modeling what works, and the top of it is getting creative. And if you take that and you invert it, then you're getting creative before you've modeled what works, which is a bad way of building a business. So let's take a look at modeling what works. So first thing I want to point out is Coach Burt on the back of his books has his website. Nowadays, you want to get people into your ecosystem somehow. You want to link them to things. Okay, so let's start off with the anatomy of a book. And the first thing that you ought to do, and this is going to be done in stages, is you're going to come up with some concepts, right, of a book. And then the way I do it is trying to think if I should actually get into this. Do you guys want to actually see how I make a book? Um, that would that be interesting to you? Let me see here. All right, so tell you what, let me show you. So I own a couple of domain names, and let's say let's say this one. This is a good domain name. All right, so I'm going to show you right now. Well, before see, I already got distracted, and now I'm rambling. So let me cut that out, edit that part, and get back to what I'm talking about. The book, the anatomy of the book. So you have a front cover, you have a back cover, okay, and you have a binder. On smaller books, there will be no binder, so you can't even put your title on it. So if it is a smaller book, you might not even have the ability to put what the book is on it. So you want to make sure it's at least a minimum of, I want to say it's like 100 something pages. You got to have a minimum of like 100 pages in order for you to get your words on the binder of the book. If it's much bigger book, then like this one's almost 400 pages. Um, Obviously, that's a much bigger book. There is, um, then you have inside of the book, the very first thing is going to be, um, the very first thing is going to be pretty much saying what the book is again, maybe a little bit different, you know? And then you have your copyright information. So you're going to go cover, front cover, open it up. It'll have the front cover again in paper form. So if the front cover got tear off, there's still a front cover in paper form. You turn the page, you got your copyright information. You always want to make sure that you have that all rights reserved, no part of this book may be reproduced in any form whatsoever, yada, 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 whatever. Then you want to have a picture of you as the author. Okay. So again, if we're looking at Coach Burt's book, got a picture of the author and a little bit about them, right? So then you get into your table of contents. Okay. Now, what I'm going to say is that the purpose of the book is to help people and give them information, but also it's to get them into your environment, into your ecosystem. So um, you want to say that there's some way that people can interact with you. Okay. And one of the best ways to do that is to create a Facebook group for people to discuss the book. And hopefully you can be there and help moderate it and do some of that stuff. But I would put in the beginning of the book, I would have something that says, hey, this is the introduction of XYZ book. And the purpose of XYZ book is to accomplish ABC. And we have a Facebook group that we would ask you guys to join. Um, and actually, you know what? Even before we do that, we ought to have a QR code and it would say, here's a quick video on YouTube. It's a message from the author. Okay. So you open up the book, you see a QR code, it says video message from the author. Then they can scan the QR code and it'll redirect them to a YouTube video, right? The YouTube video pops up, says, hey, this is author, and I wrote XYZ book, and I'm so glad that you are reading it because it will help you accomplish, you know, moving from A to B. It'll help you accomplish this goal, and it'll help you avoid some of these pitfalls. And this is my heart, and I'm hoping that this would help you. By the way, if you read the description of this video, you'll also see links to our website, our newsletter, our Facebook group, and we would just ask that, figure out a way that you could interact with us. We love to hear your feedback. We love to have stories and testimonials of how this book has helped you change your life, whatever. And, as future updates come out, we'll keep you informed. Okay, so that's the video. Then you have the description of the video, but then inside the book, you're pretty much doing the same thing of the description of the video, saying, here's our Facebook group, QR code, link, blah, 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 here's our this, that, whatever. And so inside the book, before chapter one, you've given them multiple ways to interact with you. And then you have chapter 1 through 7, 1 through 10, whatever. And then at the end of the book, you say, by the way, um, here's a video. Hey, thanks so much. I'm glad you read the book. And I hope that you enjoyed it and got something out of it. You want to bookend it, and then you want to say, and if this book has impacted you, in the description, there's a link for a place where you could write us a testimonial. And your testimonials mean the world to us. If you can give us a good review on Amazon or Kindle or whatever, that would be amazing, super helpful. And by the way, not only do we have Pray and Prosper. But we also have Guru Gangster as one of our newer books that's coming out. And we have Stop Giving Today. We have Taking the Boom Out of Boomers, Comprehensive Guide to Cohabitating with Your Parents or In-Laws. And we also have My Second Marriage to My First Wife. Not to mention, stay tuned because once you start writing books, it's kind of like some people, they get a tattoo and then they can't stop getting more tattoos. Once you start writing books, you'll start writing more books. And it's just kind of the way it works. So there's a structure to here. So what this video hopefully we're going to be able to do, and I'm going to have ChatGPT summarize this is here's the framework for how to build the book. And um, part of the purpose of the book is to help people, and the most help I can get that person is to not have them just read the book, but also watch the video, interact with other students, interact with other people, and then also to help us further help others. It's a cycle. So as they can spread the word, they can share it, they can, do other things. That would also be helpful. So when I look at Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I say I like to model what he did. So back in the early 90s, he was writing books. And in the back of his book, he would say, hey, why don't you go buy my game, Cash Flow Quadrant? Okay. And then he got smart. And in the back of some of his newer books, like Prophecy, it says best-selling author. And by the way, you can get Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Retire Young, Retire Rich, Cash Flow Quadrant. You can get all these other things. And then in the back of his books, he even puts out another bio. He puts a picture of himself, puts on some other stuff he's on, some advisory boards. He puts on Cash Flow, the board game, 101, 102, Cash Flow for Kids. And this is an advertisement in the back of his book for other books and other audio downloads and other ways to interact with them and other seminars. And so what I'm saying is that that was back in the 1990s. And today we don't need to have it be in paper. You can just instantly link them over to a website, over to an intake form, over to a Facebook group. And so there's a little planning you want to do, you got to lay the groundwork because it's got to be in the book. So when you publish it, it's already ready to go. Okay. So that's the framework for how this is done. Now, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, do you have a book or do you have a sales funnel? Can you have a little bit of both? You know? Well, let's talk about writing a book. Stop Giving Today, Comprehensive Guide to Becoming a Philanthropist. You'll notice right here, the front page um, should look a little bit better, right? And then I'm going to put my picture, I'm going to write some stuff about me, but then it goes right to the table of contents. So at this point in this book, I need to first of all, finish writing the content. What I have here is a good start, but um, it's obviously not finished yet. So this is not a finished product. But what I want to do is also link things to, like, say, get a free workbook or other things. So that's what I'm going to be working on. And this video will be recorded. I'm going to actually go ahead and have it transcribed and create a workflow for building out a book based based on the fact that it's not just a book, it's actually a marketing tool.